Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins. Yes, indeed, Miami Dolphins #1. The great Miami Dolphins team song, Miami Dolphins #1. Yes, it is game one of the Miami Dolphins NFL season. There's nothing like watching NFL football live today on CBS as I watched the Miami Dolphins beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, the final score 17, Jaguars, Miami Dolphins 20. The Miami Dolphins are back. The Miami Dolphins are back to play some good football this season, the 2024-2025 NFL season. As you can see, the Bahamian flag is behind me. We are full in support. The majority of fans in the NFL in the Bahamas are Miami Dolphin fans. I just want the NFL to know that. I want the world to know that the majority of fans in the Bahamas, don't worry about the Dallas Cowboys, don't worry about the 49ers, don't worry about the Seattle Seahawks, don't worry about the Washington Redskins. They are some of the other teams that I heard people pull for in the Bahamas, but guess what? The majority of the fans in the Bahamas are Miami Dolphins fans. So let's give Miami Dolphins a big round of applause for pulling that one off today. It was a little bit scary because the Dolphins wasn't playing too good in the first half of that game, but they eventually was able to pull it out. But I'm saying this show is dedicated to the Miami Dolphins, but more importantly, one very important player on the Miami Dolphins who went through a little bit of some challenges and trials just before that game. And guess what? I decided that what I'm going to do this year, we're going to start off with this. Miami Dolphins Bud Light. Miami Dolphins Bud Light. This one is for Tyreek Hill, number 10, Tyreek Hill, who was arrested just before the game and came back in that game and pulled off one of the biggest catches today against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So this sip is for Tyreek Hill. All right. Now, enough to get this show started. And Tyreek Hill was arrested just before the game, a little bit over 2 hours before the game. He was arrested by the cops in Miami. According to the information received from Tyreek Hill, he was arrested for speeding or reckless driving. I guess in that zone, he couldn't have been making too much speed, but according to information, he might have been about 5 to 10 miles over the speed limit, which isn't a whole lot. But guess what happened? I heard that one of the police officers was given administrative leave because of the unprofessionalism that he showed against Tyreek Hill. But I must say, I take my hat off to Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell went to the scene and tried to give Tyreek Hill some kind of support. And he too was put in handcuffs. So not only one Dolphin player was put in handcuffs, 2 Dolphin players were put in handcuffs. But Calais Campbell was released before Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill had to go down to be checked in. And now after he was released, he went to the stadium and he helped the Miami Dolphins in pulling off a big victory against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And despite what happened to Tyreek Hill, he still performed pretty good. In the first half, the Miami Dolphins wasn't doing anything at all. As a matter of fact, the Jacksonville Jaguars was leading at one point, I think 14-0 or 17-0 at one point in the game. Excuse me, the Dolphins, that's after having a little sip. The Dolphins gradually clawed their way back into the game and was able to score a touchdown by Achan. Achan was able to run the ball in at close range within the 5-yard line, and the Miami Dolphins end up being behind 17-7. But it wouldn't take too long after that for the Miami Dolphins to get another touchdown. And then what was so disappointing in this game, Jason Sanders, he has to get his head on right. He has to get his head on right. For some reason, he loses concentration sometimes, and the easy field goals sometimes he misses. But the amazing thing about this guy or this kicker, he hits the one. And I've been looking at some stats. He's 7 for 7 in game-winning field goals. That's an awesome stat. But he causes the fans in Miami to be uneasy about sometimes his close range. For some reason, his close range kicks are off target. He has to work on those. I believe if he work on those, the Miami Dolphins and the kicking game would be at such a high level that it would put more confidence in him and give the Miami Dolphins better chances, not only to tie games, but to also win games. And it was really hard to watch the game-winning field goal. I wanted to close my eye or turn my back because the coach McDaniels, he couldn't bear to stand to look at what was happening. He had to turn his back. I think he looked at the monitor to see if the ball went through, because he was like on pins and needles. He just couldn't deal with it. But as fate would have it, the ball did go through, and the Miami Dolphins won the game. Tyreek Hill, 80-yard bomb. 80-yard bomb. That was after a turnover. Javon Holland played a pivotal role in this game. You might not have heard his name too much in this game, but he played a pivotal role in this game. The reason why I'm saying that, because he was able to punch that ball out from the running back, Etienne. Etienne was on his way into the end zone to cause the Jacksonville Jaguars to be up. Instead of only being up by was it 10 at the time, they would have been up by 17 if he had scored a touchdown. And Javon Holland was aware enough that he had to do something special. And he did something special. He caused the Miami Dolphins to pull this one out. Because right after that, one long pass to Tyreek Hill, 80 yards, Tyreek Hill down the field, into the end zone, and Miami Dolphins went on for the victory. And with that said, the Miami, not only the 80-yard bomb, but overall, Tyreek Hill had 7 catches for 130 yards. 7 catches for 130 yards. Let's go to Tua. Tua, 336 yards. 300. So Tua is starting the season off pretty hot. 336 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Compared to his counterpart, Trevor Lawrence, he threw for 162 yards, no interceptions, 162 yards. This is the same quarterback who got all that money, who got paid before Tua, and I just don't know the difference between Tua and Lawrence. But from what I know, from what I've seen with Tua is the quarterback who has been dominating the NFL for the last 2 years. For the last 2 years, Tua threw for over 4,600 and something yards last season, more than Trevor Lawrence, more than the quarterback from the Buffalo Bills, more than the Kansas City quarterback, more than just every quarterback in the NFL. And what happens? Those quarterbacks were paid rather handsomely, and Tua had to be in a big battle to just get his money to be paid for this NFL season and the other years that came along with his contract. But I must say, Javon Holland did a pretty good job, and thanks to our quarterback, Kehu, hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Kehu, who was able to fall on that ball in the end zone and cause the Miami Dolphins to tie that game up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that was a good game overall. And guess what? You cannot forget the old man, Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell, I think, was the second series in the game. He sacked Trevor Lawrence. And not only that, we have Emmanuel Ogbah. Ogbah was cut by the Miami Dolphins because the Miami Dolphins wanted to get somebody else. I think they got one player from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who decided to retire. But thank God, Ogbah was still hanging around and he was still there. And I don't know the reason why they want to cut him in the first place. I do not know the reason why they want to cut Emmanuel Ogbah in the first place. I think that's total disrespect. But he played awesome today. He did a good job today. And he was there with a sack. And then you cannot forget Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips, who just came off an Achilles tear last season, played an awesome game. he had a sack in the game, so he had his first sack for the season. Ogba had a sack for the season. We also, Calais Campbell also had a sack. So the Dolphins, overall, the defense played awesome. And guess what? In the second half, the Miami Dolphins defense did not allow the Jaguars to score. So I'm saying the Dolphins defense need to play in the first half of the game. If they had played like that in the first half of the game, this game might have been a blowout. But Waddle had a big catch for 63 yards, also a big bomb from Tua. He had a total of 109 yards today. So guess what? Let's go Miami. Not on to Buffalo. Buffalo is coming down to Miami. The Buffalo Bills, they are coming down to Miami on Thursday Night Football. We have to contain Josh Allen. We have to contain that running game that he has. He needs to be hit. And you don't want to hurt him, but you want to knock him out. Because he runs too much. He doesn't stay in the pocket, so he leaves himself open to be hit. So if the Dolphins has a chance, hit the man. Hit the man. Tua just need to be careful and play smart and throw the ball away when he needs to throw the ball away to stay away from those concussions and other injuries. With that said, the Miami Dolphins played an awesome game today, and thanks for playing there. And I thank Calais Campbell for showing that support, and the rest of Miami Dolphins for showing that support to Tyreek Hill after he was arrested by the cops in Miami. But now we're on to Buffalo is on to Miami, and hopefully Miami Dolphins could have some home field advantage and pull this game out so we could be 2-0 in this NFL season. We have only a few days to rest, heal up, get back in the game on Thursday night, and let's have Thursday night football, and let's see how we can pull this one off against the Buffalo Bills. We're playing home. Let's defend home like we need to defend home. Let's throw the ball, catch the ball, and let's see if we can create some turnovers, knock the Buffalo Bills out, and let's move on to the next one. We have 10 days off after playing the Buffalo Bills. So hopefully the Miami Dolphins will be there. Will be there when it's all done. Miami Dolphins, number one. Miami Dolphins.